Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Malcolm Graves. I'm a member of the Fellowship of Professional Celebrants. And I should like to commence with this friendship poem. Friendship is the greatest lifelong gift that's known. You may have many friends in life and also some at home. Some of them will enter the inner workings of your soul, sharing so many things in life that help to make you whole. The fun of being so close stirs up the banter that is shown. When much is shared, they're sadly missed when we're left alone. Though friendships sometimes falter at sad times in our lives, they're often rekindled and hopefully survive. Friends can sometimes argue with passions running high. True friendships, though, will never end until our last goodbye. Thank you. Well, we're here uniting in love and friendship as we celebrate the gift of time and memories of Frankie Shortiss, whom we all knew as Frankie, a man who loved his family alongside meeting and helping people. And Frankie passed away at 76, a life well lived. And today we pay tribute to his strength of character and cherish his memory. And our opening music is a tribute to his Irish roots, and our poem to the amazing friends and acquaintances that he forged. So today, let us honour his resilience and determination. And he has left a huge gap in our lives. Yet I'm sure we all take comfort from our special memories of Frankie, and he will forever be in our hearts and minds. During Frankie's younger days, he suffered difficult times due to his alcohol addiction, and this was due to an hereditary disease. However, we are in awe of his strength after he joined AA and spent the remainder of his life to help others overcome their own addiction and alcohol. And because he turned his life around, he became a loving, devoted father to his daughters Catherine and Alison, and a loving grandfather to his grandsons Aaron, Oliver, Jacob and Levi. His ashes will be scattered in Cornwall, and it was a place that was dear to his heart. Frankie Welly was his own man, a huge character, someone who had a real presence about him, kind, caring and, yes, quirky with it. A man who was open-minded. He didn't mind being teased and enjoyed sharing a laugh. And he forever remained positive and displayed a happy outlook. And so thoughts now are with his daughters, Catherine and Alison. grandsons Aaron, Oliver, Jacob and Levi, loving brother Martin, who is affectionately known as Margie, with whom he had many lifelong adventures, his loving sister Anne, whom he was devoted to, his brother Paddy, who has written a tribute that I shall read in our service, along with his nieces and nephews, including Stephen, with whom he shared a great bond. And today our service is being webcast, and I should like everyone watching at home, whether in Ireland, I know, Paddy, that you are watching from there, and in Cornwall, where his daughter Catherine and grandson Oliver, you're watching too. And I want you all to know you're very much part of our service here at Mortlake in London. Well, Frankie has left this huge gap in our lives. So let us take comfort from memories of this unforgettable man who made us all smile and laugh. And I think he will forever be in our hearts and minds. So today we celebrate Frankie's achievements. As we know, he had this real unique nature. He loved meeting people, and maybe that's how we should remember him. At our service today, readings, music, personal memories, and our religious readings and Celtic blessing aptly reflect the character of a man whose roots were firmly established in Ireland, yet who embraced life as a Londoner and enjoyed time spent with his daughters in Cornwall. Frankie lived a grand life and was a great favourite of everyone. And yes, I'm sure you remember how he would make us laugh with his jokes and humour. Well, Frankie was born on the 29th of March 1945 in Tipperary in Southern Ireland, one of 16 children, and brought up in strict Catholic traditions. He had a happy childhood, though as we know he could be a bit of a rebel in his youth. I should like to make two Bible readings. The first is from Mark chapter 3, chosen as it has real poignancy. For Jesus had healed many, so that those with diseases were pushing forward to touch him. Whenever the impure spirits saw him, they fell down before him and cried out, "You are the Son of God." But he gave them strict orders not to tell others about him. Jesus went up on a mountainside and called to them those that he wanted, and they came to him. He appointed 12 that they might be with him, and that he might send them out to preach, and for them to have the authority to drive out demons. And through the church, Frankie was guided to AA, whereupon he showed his determination to embrace this healing act. He showed real self-determination to embrace this healing, thereby making a better life for himself. And he wouldn't just become exceptionally good company. Frankie would inspire this loving energy amongst many others too. A man who ultimately he wanted to share your time with. And he had this affinity with everyone that he met. And his ability to turn his life around, and in so doing helping others for over 35 years, is a testimony both to Frankie and also of how God tested him and found Frankie worthy of himself. And he really did find another purpose later in his life. And he was very open about it and became chair of AA, where he helped so many others to kick the habit. And I think this reading from Wisdom is a real tribute to Frankie and a proven scenario where he passed the test that God set him. And this was a reading from Wisdom. But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God. and no torment will ever touch them. In the eyes of the foolish, they seem to have died, and their departure was thought to be an affliction, and their gain from us to be their destruction, but they are at peace. For though in the sight of men they were punished, their hope is full of immortality. Having been disciplined a little, they will receive great good, because God tested them and found them worthy of himself. Those who trust in him will understand truth, and the faithful will abide with him in love, because grace and mercy are upon his elect, and he watches over his holy ones. Frankie had faith and became a real leader of men, whereupon people looked up to him, and Frankie made a difference to so many other people's lives. As we know, Frankie had strong beliefs, and I hope you feel that our religious readings really do mirror his own self-determination and how he really did pass the test God set for him. And reflecting on earlier times, I know, Paddy, that you have written your tribute and asked me to read it on your behalf. And I know, Paddy, that you are watching us on webcast from Ireland. Paddy's tribute. My brother Frankie was one of a kind. He was the patriarch of the family, especially to his brothers and sisters. He helped me through some tough times in my life and made me into a better man, and for that I will always be grateful. We know we could call on Frankie at any time, and most of us did. Myself and my wife Mary, daughters Maria and Caroline, and son Barry will miss him very much, and his great humour and caring nature during his visits to Ireland. Until we meet again, dear brother, love, Paddy. Thank you, Paddy, lovely words. Well, Frankie came to London when he was 14, and he would work in hotels and also in labouring. And he moved to Cornwall in the 60s, met Marlene and married and had 2 children, Catherine and Alison. And you told me that you both loved your dad very much, and he in turn loved you and his grandsons with a passion. And I know you'd like me to share your thoughts. He really enjoyed many times in Cornwall, where you live, Catherine and Alison. He enjoyed the sea air, enjoyed the relaxed atmosphere. And so we shall now embark on Catherine's and Alison's tribute to their dad. So I have the privilege of reading Catherine's tribute. Dad was amazing. People always say that about their fathers, but he really was. When Dad walked into a room, he brought the sunshine with him, even if it was pouring with rain outside. And I have no memory of him as a tiny girl, except I remember missing him. So when we were reunited when I was 30-year-olds and we hugged, it felt completely right. Dad took troubles and turned them into triumphs. He stayed curious about life and the people around him. He turned his own life around from a very dark place, and he used the lessons learnt and the wisdom he gained to help others. And he did this for the rest of his days. Family meant everything to Dad, and he literally glowed with pride whenever he talked about any one of his family. He was my best friend, and I'm glad I told him what an inspiration he was. He was a fun granddad, always willing to listen. I called him my groovy dad, which always made him smile. Yes, he was amazing. Well, thank you, Catherine, for allowing me the privilege of reading your tribute. I know, Alison, that you would like to share your thoughts as well.
that's watching. Right, okay, let's do this, Dad. I wrote this for Dad. I didn't really know what to put into words because he's just so much life and so much, just such a good guy that it's hard to sort of put down what we sort of want to say just into a few words on a piece of paper, really. And what I did was I talked to him a lot, and I sort of said to him how you could help me out here, because this is going to be really hard. And he did help me out, and this is what we wrote together, really. Well, him together as I wrote it, asking for my dad's help. Okay, so this is, put my glasses on, I'll be able to see it. This is my tribute to my handsome Irish dad. Dad, how will I handle a world without you? I will miss your loving smile, I will miss your laughter and twinkling blue eyes. I will miss your soothing Irish voice. Dad, you loved me unconditionally, as I loved you. You would wipe away my tears, and you would really calm my fears. Dad, we didn't always see eye to eye, and that's natural too. I would drive you crazy, and you would drive me crazy too. Like father, like daughter, you would say, and we would always talk things through and laugh that we had that Irish temper too. We loved each other deeply. There's no better love than that. What am I going to do without you to talk to? Well, I will talk to you in heaven, Dad. And I know heaven is a beautiful place, Dad, because they have got you, my loving Dad. Rest in peace, my darling, until we meet again. Your loving daughter, Alison. God bless you, Dad. And these are some flowers for Ollie, my son who's watching, his grandson, and Catherine, my sister, who's watching, and from me, just to show how much we love him.
Well, I think you'll agree they're loving thoughts from Catherine and Alison. Later on, Frankie would work for a number of years at World End Theatre, helping doing all sorts of jobs. Our Frankie West, he enjoyed his music, country, Irish, as well as music of the 60s and 70s, and he had a great collection. He respected his Irish roots and went back to Ireland many times. Later, he led a wonderful and fascinating life, always displaying the strength of character, alongside a determination in whatever he did. And now, if I could invite you to look at your printed orders of service, a poem called We Remember Him, and this is a tribute for their beloved granddad from Aaron, Oliver, Jacob and Levi, read by Jacob before we listen to our reflection music, The Parting Glass. Jacob.
When we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart, we remember him. When we have a joy we crave to share, when we have decisions that are difficult to make, when we have achievements that are based on his, we remember him. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, at the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember him. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, at the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember him. At the rising of the sun and at its setting, we remember him. As long as we live, he too will live. For he is now part of us, as we remember him. We love you, Grandad.
All the money that ever I had, I spent it in good company. And of all the harm that ever I done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, of all the comrades that ever I had, they are sorry for my going away. And of all the sweethearts that ever I had, they would wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls up to my lot that I should rise and you should not, I gently rise and I softly call, good night and joy be with you all. Oh, if I had money enough to spend and leisure time to sit a while, there is a fair maid in this town that sorely has my heart beguiled. Her rosy cheeks and ruby lips, I own she has my heart enthralled. Then fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all.
Thank you. I'd like us all to say together the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. I should like to invite Stephen to read his eulogy. As we know, Frankie was happy with his life, a free spirit, always supporting people. A great socialiser, we always laughed at his jokes and stories, and I know that you did as well, Stephen.
As you know, Uncle Frankie was my great uncle. I can't emphasise the word great enough. He was a father figure as well as an inspiration to me, alongside Margie. After Dad passed away, we became even closer. Sadly, many of us have had our demons to fight in one shape or form over the years. I was fighting mine over 4 years ago. With the help of Frankie and his guidance, I was able to overcome my demons and become the man I am today. I am so grateful and privileged that he was in my life. There are so many special memories with Frankie, and it's so hard to pick one out. We spoke every week and met up every few weeks to have a good catch-up. We would laugh so much, but before he'd break out in a laugh, he would say his famous, "Oh Jesus, oh Jesus." I still laugh at the amount of times he would say it. He was always immaculately dressed. His flat was always so tidy, not a thing out of place. I used to go to meet him with Margie for a cup of tea at his place, and Margie and myself would put our cups down on his coffee table, and within seconds he'd be giving us that look and giving us a coaster to put our cups on. We also regularly met up at a posh coffee shop in Parsons Green. They served coffee and tea in a bowl-type cup with no handles. It was a running joke that we'd meet up for a bowl of coffee, and we knew where we were going to meet. Frankie lived a very simple life, but rich with the amount of people he knew and helped. He really was an inspiration to so many people, especially to me. I would go to AA meetings with Frankie and Margie and quickly realised the respect he had from fellow members. He introduced me to so many members, some very famous people whom will remain a secret. I would watch as they listened and chatted to Frankie. A few weeks before Frankie passed away, I was working in my taxi in Victoria. I noticed this white-haired man cycling near me. I realised it was Frankie. I shouted, "Oi, get off the streets." He looked around and was just about to say something back to me and realised it was me. The famous "Oh Jesus" came out of his mouth. I pulled over, gave him a big hug, and we chatted for a while. Little did I know that would be the last time I'd hug that great man. Frankie was a kind, caring, intelligent man who possessed so much wisdom. He always had time for other people. Frankie will be so missed by so many. Thank you for being such a major part of my life. I love you like a father figure until we meet again. Rest in peace.
Well, thank you, Steve. You have shown great strength in sharing those very personal thoughts. You say he's kind, he's caring. True, he loved his family, children and grandchildren very much. He loved meeting and helping people. And he also maintained a good friendship with his daughter's mother, Marlene, who also lived in Cornwall. He was his own man, always showing kindness and thoughtfulness to others. Catherine's husband, Ian, says he was very fond of Frankie and always enjoyed his company and will be raising a glass to Frank today. Well, he was so impeccably turned out, so smart, casually dressed, always looked very good with his white hair. And he loved his bike, biking around London, and that was his absolute favourite pastime. And I know that, Stephen, you shared your immense thoughts and you are in awe of Frankie. But he was happy with his life. And his legacy is as a true friend and a lovable and caring man. I think it is really remarkable the astonishing respect that people had for Frankie. He will live long in all of our memories, and we know he had strong beliefs, believed in Jesus and always wore a crucifix around his neck. As you reminded us, Stephen, his favourite saying, "Praise be Jesus, be Jesus." But it's time to send Frankie on his way with our Celtic blessing. This Celtic blessing really is a reminder of his Irish roots. And for people at home, we've had the most beautiful printed order service pamphlet printed today. So for those of you at home and in the chapel, we approach our farewell for Frankie. May the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rains fall softly upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Frankie Shortiss, we give thanks for the privilege of knowing you. Thank you for all you have done. Go well. We shall not forget you. And let us all remember that the love is eternal, spirit is immortal, and death is just a horizon. And a horizon is nothing save the limit of our sight. Until we all meet again,